Hello everyone and welcome to yet another fresh episode of Soccer Stories. The FIFA World Cup returned to Europe in 1998 with France winning the bidding rights to host the event in 1992. As host, France was also back into the global event after missing the 1990 and 94 editions. France thus also became the third country after Mexico and Italy to host two World Cups. The tournament also saw the significant addition of 8 more teams, pushing the number of finalists to 32 from the previous 24. This meant the preliminary phase had 8 groups of 4 teams each, with the top 2 from each group getting into the pre-quarterfinals. The French at home was nearly flawless as they crowned themselves with glory, chalking out a one-sided 3-0 win over the favourites Brazil. Croatia, Jamaica, Japan and South Africa made their first appearance in the World Cup as France 98 saw the introduction of golden goal and the use of electronic boards by the fourth officials for the first time. In Group A, defending champion Brazil under Mario Zagallo had a formidable side. The 21-year-old Ronaldo had blossomed into a feared striker, and the South Americans had many of the players who helped the country win their 4th title in USA 94. However, in the opening match against Scotland, it was not the superstars who scored for Brazil, but a relatively unknown Cesar Sampaio who scored the opening goal. Brazil went on to win 2-1 as Tom Boyd's own goal in the 74th minute killed the contest after Collins had equalised for Scotland through a penalty. The champion side, however, came back roaring with a comprehensive 3-0 win over Morocco and entered the knockout round with a game to spare. Ronaldo, Rivaldo and Bebeto scored for the South Americans who played with their traditional flair. Scotland drew with Norway and crushed Morocco and were poised to enter the knockout round. However, Norway's surprise 2-1 win over Brazil pitchforked them over Scotland in the group standings. Italy, after being held to a draw by Chile, got the better of both Austria and Cameroon to top Group B. Christian Vieri, who spent his childhood in Australia, was a new star for Italy as he scored in all 3 league games. Chile finished second in the group to qualify. Host France was impressive in Group C and won all their league matches, what with Thierry Henry launching his notable international career in style with an injury-time goal against South Africa. Henry thereafter struck a brace in the 4-0 win over Saudi Arabia. Thierry Henry thereafter struck a brace in the 4-0 win over Saudi Arabia. Denmark presented a tough challenge, but France overcame the former European champions 2-1 for their 3rd win. Denmark beat Saudi Arabia but were held to a draw by the gallant South Africans. Nevertheless, the Danes made it to the knockout round as a group runners-up. Group D threw up surprises with fancied Spain and Bulgaria, the semi-finalists in 1994, failing to progress. Herein, it was the Nigerians who proved to be the surprise package before topping the group. With most of their stars playing in top leagues in Europe, the African nation earned the tag of dark horse after scoring a comeback 3-2 win against Spain and beating Bulgaria 1-0. The ultra-defensive tactics of Paraguay fetched them draws against Spain and Bulgaria, but they needed to beat in-form Nigeria to qualify, and you know what? They did exactly that in the last league match. Ayala's opening minute strike put them on the road to an impressive 3-1 win. Spain's 6-1 win over Bulgaria went in vain as a European nation finished 3rd in the group. Fancied Belgium failed to qualify from Group E despite not losing any of their league matches. The Belgians were expected to roll over South Korea and qualify when the two sides met in the last league match. However, South Korea snatched a 1-1 draw after failing behind in the 7th minute. The result proved to be favourable for Mexico, which grabbed an injury-time equalizer against Netherlands. Though both Netherlands and Mexico finished with identical points, the former won the group having a better goal difference. The Germans came as one of the favourites after having won the Euro 96 in England. The squad was aging, but there were still some big names that opponents feared. Lothar Matthäus was playing his 5th World Cup as a libero, and Jurgen Klinsmann was still sharp up front. Oliver Bierhoff was in a rich vein of form after Euro 96 and was Germany's trump card. The Germans beat Iran and the United States by identical margins, which is 2-0, and drew against Yugoslavia 2-2 to top Group E on goal difference. Yugoslavia finished second in the table. In Group G, England, making their first appearance after 1990, was under Glenn Hoddle. In Group G, England, making their first appearance after 1990, was under Glenn Hoddle. They had an exciting striker, 18-year-old Michael Owen, who was later to win the Ballon d'Or, and a superstar playmaker, David Beckham. Alan Shearer, the Premier League top scorer, and a reliable goalkeeper in David Seaman. England opened with an easy win over Tunisia. However, they lost to Romania 1-2 through an injury time goal. The English campaign was back on track after the side won against Colombia by 3-0. The loss to Romania saw them finish second in their group. Argentina was managed by their former World Cup winning captain Daniel Passarella, a strict disciplinarian. Passarella set hard rules which some of the players found difficult to follow. Nevertheless, the squad contained many players with leading clubs in La Liga and Serie A. After topping the South American qualifiers, Argentina had the team to challenge the best in the World Cup. Argentina was placed in a relatively easy group with 3 debutants: Croatia, Japan and Jamaica. Batistuta struck in the 28th minute for an unconvincing win over Japan in the opening match. They ensured qualification with a 1-0 win over Croatia. Batistuta scored a hat-trick in Argentina's 39th minute, crushing a 5-0 win over Jamaica, and they topped the group by winning all their matches. The Argentina-England clash was a marquee tie of the second round. The two teams were meeting for the first time since 1986, and England were still licking their wounds from the goals scored by none other than the godly Diego Maradona. The first half started dramatically with Argentina earning a penalty when Seaman rushed out and clattered into Simeone. Batistuta's powerful shot beat Seaman to put Argentina ahead. However, Michael Owen won a penalty as it was brought down by Ayala inside the box. English skipper Shearer beat Carlos Roa to equalize the scores in the 10th minute. The threat of Owen didn't end, and the Argentinian defense was again caught napping by his pace in the 15th minute. The striker cut into the Argentinian half and with a spectacular finish put England ahead. Argentina struggled to find an opening till a foul by Sol Campbell on Lopez earned the South Americans a free kick. The set piece earned Argentina the much-earned equalizer. As England expected Batistuta to take the free kick, the striker ran over the ball and Veron pushed it to Javier Zanetti, who peeled away from the wall and struck home unchallenged. Early in the second half, the glamorous David Beckham was sent off for a petulant kick on Simeone in a retaliation after the Argentinian had fouled him from behind. England did not allow Argentina to dominate them. England had a goal disallowed in the 79th minute when Sol Campbell found the back of the net with a header. The goal was disallowed as Shearer was deemed to have fouled Carlos Roa. The match went to penalties and England's poor records in shootout haunted them again. Crespo and Ince missed their kicks for Argentina and England respectively in the second round. In the final round, David Batty was the unlucky player whose shot was saved by Roa as England lost 4-3 in the shootout. Form played true in the other matches as seeded teams Brazil, Italy, Germany and France along with Netherlands moved into the quarterfinals. Brazil hammered Chile 4-1 with Ronaldo and Sampaio scoring a brace each. Christian Vieri struck in Italy's 1-0 win over Norway. Laurent Blanc created a piece of history as he scored the first golden goal in the World Cup during France's 1-0 win over Paraguay. Nigerians who promised much after their spectacular show in the group matches, suffered a 1-4 defeat at the hands of Denmark. Croatia's dream run continued as they moved into the quarter-finals with a solitary goal win over Romania. Italy faced off against France in the quarter-finals and match went into shootout, which the host won to enter the semi-finals. On the other side, Denmark stretched Brazil in the quarter-final match. Initially, Brazil fell behind early through a Jorgensen goal. Bebeto found parity and Rivaldo put the South Americans one up before Laudrup made it to 2-2 for the Danes. But the cunning Rivaldo struck his second goal to put Brazil in the semi-finals. After the energy-swapping win against England, Argentina faced Netherlands in the quarter-finals. The Dutch were no pushovers and had a crop of exciting world-class players, and Argentina had their task cut out. Patrick Kluivert put Netherlands ahead in the 12th minute and the lead was cancelled out by Lopez. Batistuta hit the bar with a long ranger as Netherlands survived. As teams braced for extra time, came a piece of brilliance from Dennis Bergkamp, which sealed the contest. In the 89th minute, Bergkamp latched onto an overhead long pass from Frank de Boer and nutmegged a defender, and from close sent an angular shot into the far post to help his team sail through the semi-finals. Croatia stunned Germany 3-0 to pull off the biggest upset in the quarter-finals. Germany was reduced to 10 men when defender Christian Wons was sent off for a foul on Suker. Robert Jani grabbed an injury-time goal to put the Croats ahead. The second half was a fascinating contest with the Germans pushing forward and Croatia defending with verve and attacking with counterattacks. The Germans imploded in the final 10 minutes as Vlahovic and Suker scored for a comprehensive win. Brazil scored off against the Dutch in the semi-finals. After a goalless first half, the charismatic Ronaldo scored in the first minute to put Brazil ahead. The South Americans were 3 minutes away from entering the final when Kluivert brought in a late twist to the contest by scoring the equalizer. The extra time failed to produce any goals and Brazil defeated Netherlands 4-2 in the shootout as Cocu and Ronald de Boer missed their kicks for the Dutch. France entered the maiden final riding on a brace from Lilian Thuram. Suker struck early in the second half for Croatia, but Thuram, who probably played his best match in the French shirt, equalized quickly. His second goal in the 70th minute settled the issue. The lip-smacking South America Euro final failed to live up to the expectations. The Brazilians were distracted by the pre-match build-up which focused much on Ronaldo's omission. Though the striker was reinstated into the team 45 minutes before the start, he remained anonymous on the field. Brazil was subdued and the defense left gaping holes which was exploited by the French. The charismatic talisman Zinedine Zidane, who was a calming influence in the French midfield with his bag of tricks, rose to the occasion in the final. The midfielder headed in the opening goal and followed it up with another header during stoppage time in the first half. Emmanuel Petit completed Brazil's misery by scoring in the 3rd minute of injury time of a counter-attack to inflict a 3-0 defeat. France won its maiden title and became the 5th country as host to win the World Cup after Italy, England, Germany and Argentina. With this, we conclude today's episode of Soccer Stories. Let's meet again. Until then, hasta la vista.